bought this house about 3 years ago and recently renovated the stable block as our holiday cottage.
It took us 9 months to get to this stage.
Yeah.
We were terrified. The roof for 3 years, it was only half roofed. So we've taken half the roofing off. So on the one hand, it was about getting into a state where people might want to come and stay, but also we had to shore it up. It was a bit of a liability.
It was.
It's a Victorian stable block, and so it's built in about 1850, we think.
We wanted it to feel like a really gorgeous high-end hotel suite, but still be comfortable enough to stay for a week at a time for families. So whilst it's not large, there's a space for everything. We've even managed to squish in a wine fridge. I'm an interior designer for my Sims for work, and I've been an interior designer for about 15 years now. And so I have got a huge sort of plethora of experience of installing. Actually, when we developed our house in London, we put a kitchen in. And it was just after we installed it I heard about DIY kitchens, because lots of our friends were also buying their first house, doing it up, putting in their first kitchens, and I started to hear about it then. And I kicked myself, because if I'd known about it, we would have put that in our house in London. When we moved out here, I knew that's who I wanted to install it. Because it's open plan, it was actually quite easy to sort of draw it all up, because the planner allows you to drop in doorways, windows, corridors like that. It's quite easy. It's just a really clever way of like roughly plan it, go to the showroom, have a really good look. And then it was just a case of working out which colours we wanted.
Yeah. And because we wanted to make sure that we had integrated units, so we went with the AEG option through
everything. Yeah.
And there was an element of confidence with that, because actually if you're trying to put your own your own utilities in there, your own white goods, well hang on, is it going to fit? Who's going to install it? Whereas this, they just bolted it together and knew exactly what they were doing.
And then I joined a DIY Facebook group of people who absolutely adore the brand and share tips about how to use the units and how to modify them if you want to create certain larder cupboards. And I think that maybe now DIY kitchens have clocked onto that, and they've become very clever about how you can use their units to sort of adapt and really achieve those kind of high-end looks. We then knew that we wanted to do a built-in seating unit, so as I say, we had a very limited space, and we'd seen again a few people using different elements to sort of build built-in seating. And so we simply used the end panels for the back of the seat, and then some top boxes as the bottom, and our carpenter very quickly sort of built a little frame, slotted it in, and there you have it. You've got a finished sort of built-in seat. And you could have commissioned a carpenter to build that, and you would have been charged thousands of pounds, and actually this cost us a few £100, and it looks beautiful. And
the finish wouldn't have been consistent. So we have just a long, it's 2.5 metre run of principal units with the sink in it and the washing machine, dishwasher. We wanted another sort of element.
Like a drinks area.
Yeah,
like
almost
fridge.
like a bar. It feels a bit like a hotel sort of, that's where you'd have the mini bar, or you'd have some lighting above it, a feature. But we didn't want the room to feel like a kitchen. So it has to be versatile and multi-purpose. And I think that's achieved.
I would say it's that sort of vista there. You're looking at this really lovely, in an unsymmetrical space, we've created a bit of symmetry by putting in the shelf and the backsplash. I think it looks really high-end. I think it looks seamless. I think what we've been most impressed with is the build quality. Like, everything turned up in immaculate condition. Yeah. There was no chip paintwork, and even with like super high-end kitchens, you expect a little bit of damage on delivery. There was nothing. And I think the builders were really pleased that it came already assembled. There was no faffing around from their perspective, and I think that's what everyone was really not surprised by, but I think everyone was really pleased by how good quality it was.
And the Decton is an absolute win. We've got the thickest one I think you can go for, which is the 20mm. The worry was that it was going to seem like we had chosen it because we were trying to be mindful of our budget, but not at all. It's now like a showstopper element of the kitchen.